Hey Soundhouse, good morning. Excited to have another message here today. And we got DJ joining us, so glad you're here.
Morning.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. And DJ actually reached out to me with a message, something that he's kind of been praying and thinking through, which is the subject of trials, something I think that we could all relate to now. So before we start, DJ, did you have any verses that you wanted to read to kick this off?
Yeah, I love James personally, and I just, as we were talking about what we're going through, James 1 verse 2 kind of stood out to me as he says, "Dear brothers and sisters, when trouble of any kind come your way, consider it an opportunity for great joy." And I just think one thing I'm troubling with right now is where my friends are, where my connection will be from. So I need to consider pure joy that I'm in it and we're all in it together.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm glad you brought that up too, because that's something we were talking about us all being in this together, especially with the pandemic going on. Do you find that encouraging, discouraging? How do you feel having that knowledge, knowing that we're all kind of in this together?
Yeah, it's so funny. It kind of struck me as I was going through Instagram. I saw a quote where "you're not alone," and I hate when people put writing on pictures on Instagram.
Yeah.
But I dwelled on that and I saw it 3 weeks ago, and I'm still thinking about it.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, there's situations that you've been in that I have not been in, but somewhere someone has been struggling with the same concept and same idea that I'm involved in, and somebody's struggling with it, and that helps me to realize that.
Yeah, absolutely. I think knowing we're not alone as a community, as brothers and sisters, helps. But also knowing we're not alone because God is with us too. There's this verse in Isaiah 43:2 that says, "When you pass through dark waters, I will be with you." And that's kind of what this feels like, is we're like treading water almost, or at times feel like we're drowning. But here is that promise, knowing that God is with us. Other than the obvious, everything we're dealing with now, has there ever been a time in your life where you went through a difficult time, went through a trial, something didn't go the way you planned, and did you find hope in that? Was it discouraging at first? How did that feel for you?
Yeah, I think high school, I remember I was trying to be the leader of my Christian club, and it was very difficult when I had my jock friends who partied every weekend, but also I was doing the Bible study on Wednesday at lunch, and about 12 kids who I never hung out with would go. And so it was always being divided into what group I was in and to how to correlate them both.
Yeah, absolutely. Did that end up happening? Did you end up leading that Christian club, or did somebody else step into that?
I did lead the Christian club, and I did, still be kind with all. I had lunch sometimes with the Christian club leaders and sometimes with the jocks, football players, but at the end of the day, everybody just knew me and knew my heart, and they didn't see me at parties, and they didn't come to my Bible studies. But even though I was there, and that connection was the valuable asset, in my opinion.
Yeah, I love that. And it reminds me of a quote that I heard someone say, that your neighbors aren't reading the Bible, they're reading you. And so all your friends who were partying were reading you to know what you truly believed, as well as those who looked up to you were coming to you as a leader. They were reading you as well. And so I think during trials, the outside world is reading us as well and seeing, do we sound exactly the same as everyone else in the world who's like scared and afraid? And those feelings are okay, but also, everyone's looking at us to see how we're going to handle trials. So I think it's also an opportunity too.
Yeah.
And that's something I've loved about having you in youth group, is a lot of our teens as well have gotten to know you, gotten to know us, and are looking at us. And in the same way, your friends are looking at you guys. So it is, trials are opportunities, which kind of goes back to that verse you read in James. I love that. What would you say is something that you do more of a practical, or how, whenever you are going through a trial, do you spend time in prayer? Or do you go to people? Like, how do you usually face those?
I'm huge on asking people's advice, opinions. Prayer is big too, but I think both could coincide. If for me reading is not my strong suit, but if I'm asking 10 people who really, I know their faith is deep, is grounded, I know that they're not going to steer me the wrong way. And so I really enjoy praying, and as well as asking people their opinions so that I can make an educated decision on whatever confliction I'm going through.
That's good. I love that too. And I've come to you many times. I've gone to Ryan. I've gone to different leaders, all kinds of people, just asking for advice, asking for prayer. I think that connects us, and that's kind of back to that hashtag of us not being alone. Yeah. I think that nothing brings us closer is whenever we are going through trial, asking for help. The only thing I guess we could close with is, what advice would you give, or what encouragement would you give to anybody who is going through a trial, whether it be something globally, something personally, or just something in their life? What would you encourage for the teams and leaders? And
I've 2 weeks I've been dwelling on the "we are not alone" factor, and I've really centered my life around that recently. If I don't get a call back immediately, if I don't get a text back, it's all right. Like, maybe they're busy, or I've been thinking like, hey, maybe Dominic is struggling with that too. And if he's not, somebody else is alone. Somebody else didn't have a call from a friend today, and that's okay. They are still loved by me, by others, and that's okay that I'm feeling this way. My feelings are validated. And I want to encourage you that whenever you think you are alone, or you're the only one with that feeling, no, this life has longed for others, and this life has many other challenges that we all face, and we all go through the same way.
That's good. Absolutely. I love that. Just knowing, it's one of those things where I forget that. I expect people to give me grace whenever I don't pick up the phone or whatever, but as soon as someone else does it, I automatically assume they're being a jerk or something. And I love that challenge of trying to see from someone else's perspective, see in, kind of from their shoes, what might be going on in their life. I love that. And I'll just close with just an encouragement of hope. Paul writes in Romans 8:18, I consider that our present sufferings are not worth comparing with the glory that will be revealed in us. And so whatever trials we're going through, whatever's happening, we could definitely do these things to be better community, reach out, to love others and strangers and our neighbors better, and to let them feel like they're not alone, because we're here and because God is always with us, but also just knowing the hope that whatever is going on, there is hope in Jesus, and one day this is all going to be taken away. So that's our encouragement for you guys. Thank you so much, DJ, just for, yeah, absolutely, anytime, just for all your wisdom and your heart for the students. Really appreciate it. And we will see you guys on Wednesday. Have a good one.